And then I left and I was driving home. I'm like, I think I might get this role, bro. And then I'm gonna cry. They call me and they're like, dude, you got it.
What was that like? What was that moment like in that call?
Dude. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Who calls you?
I'll give you the long and more interesting version of it. I had auditioned to play so many different characters in the MCU, all of which hard pass. They did not want me. And I was just like, it was before Parks and Rec and up to Parks and Rec that I was kind of like engaging in that world, trying to be the action hero. No one thought I was right for that role. And a few different times I really failed. And as I was looking more like Andy than Peter Quill when I'd walk into the auditions and they could just, like, you know, I just see the casting director's eyes glaze over as I was going through the scene. I'm sweating. I was like so uncomfortable. And so the rejection of it, I thought, okay, this is just not the world I want to play in. I was feeling defensive. I'm like, they're doing so many of these movies. It's cooler to not be in one than to be in, you know, whatever. And so when the audition for Guardians of the Galaxy came up, I was like, I don't know, I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. And I told my manager, I don't think so. And they're like, really? I said, yeah, I just don't think I didn't say it out loud, but what I was feeling is I don't need to go have them tell me that they don't want me to play this character.
Yeah.
And so I passed on it. And also James Gunn was like struggling to find Peter Quill, and Sarah Finn, our casting director, was like, what about Chris Pratt? And he was like, the fat guy from Parks and Rec? No, I'm not gonna, no, I don't. So we're both concluding that I would not be even auditioning for the role. Anyways, it was around the time that Zero Dark 30 was coming out. Zero Dark 30 came out, I saw it in the theater, and I play a Navy SEAL. And no one in the screening room laughed when I got on stage. You know, they were like, okay, I buy it. That guy could be SEAL Team 6 member. I was playing a character that in their minds, it was believable that I could be on the team that hunted down and killed Osama bin Laden, right? Like, I was selling and portraying a badass, and people bought it. And I thought, wow, and you're constantly recalibrating how the business sees you and where you might live in the marketplace. And around the same time, there were a lot of action comedies happening, but it was never with someone who was actually action hero-y. It was like the reluctant hero who'd like punch the guy and his hand would hurt, and that was the comedy. He'd kick the door down and then he'd fall over, and it's like, this guy's inept, he can't be an action hero. That was sort of the things that were being produced at the time. So I was thinking to myself, and I remember distinctly telling my manager, listen, I can play a guy who can kick a door down. We just proved that. Also, I think I have comedy chops. Maybe we just need to develop something that incorporates the two, where I can play a guy who's legitimately seems like a tough guy and a badass guy, but also with my own brand of humor. So maybe we need to find a writer and just develop something. And she kept saying, what about Guardians of the Galaxy? And I was like, ugh. And I said, fine, you know what, I'll do it, but I'm gonna—
The audition or
the audition?
The audition, okay.
I said, yeah, the audition. I fully went in there intending for them to just pass on me. But in doing it, I've had also like learned this technique auditioning, which was go and be surprising and go and just lie. The minute you walk through the door, you're not have to tell any of these motherfuckers the truth. Just completely bullshit them to get the role. Like, I do that. When I booked Everwood, the guy, he's a bully, and he beats up this kid with purple hair who's the hero. And the kid is like, has manga characters, and I rip his manga magazine and say something stupid to him. And when I walked into the audition, they're like, do you have any questions? I was like, so basically I'm the hero. And this little purple-haired freak moves into my town. He's trying to like boink my sister. So my job is just basically like putting him in his place. And they're like, yeah. And I walk out and then I put my ear to the door like I always do at auditions. And I hear him go, well, that's the guy. You know what I mean? So like you walk in, you pretend. It works until people know who you are. But with James, there was all this mystery around anything that's a Marvel project. They're not gonna actually give you the script. They're gonna give you scenes that are like not actually from the movie because it's also secretive.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
And these things leak, and you can't give every person auditioning for the role the script, or else it'll get out there. People, it's like they covet the material so much, which is really frustrating as an actor because you want to be able to do this stuff. And I remember looking at the lists. Everyone wanted to know who's going to be Peter Quill. The 50 actors who should play Peter Quill, and I was like, nope, I'm not on the list. I'm not on the list, you know?
No way.
And so it just kind of reaffirmed the idea that I'm not going to get this thing. So I walk in there, and James was like, but I had this idea of like the thing I wanted to develop, the comedy that I had in my mind of the action hero being the guy. I was like, I'm just going to walk in and I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And if it works, great. If it doesn't, fine. And so he was like, so hey, Chris, and when he tells it, he's like, Sarah snuck me in. He's like, I said I didn't want to see this dude. I'm like, fuck. So I walk in and he says, hey, yeah, Chris, hey man, thanks for coming in. Do you have any questions? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Do I have questions? That's all I have. You won't give me a script? I have no idea what I'm doing here. I don't know what the character's supposed to be. There's so many iterations of this guy. You won't show me I don't know what you expect. You want me to come in here and play this character? I'm just gonna like come in and just guess, I guess, is what I'm supposed to do. And so I started being Quill in front of him.
Dude, you did that?
Yeah, and no one walks in. Everyone is so deferential in every audition. It's like everyone's so thirsty.
Right.
You know, they walk in, they're like, "Do you have any questions?" "Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy to be." You know, it's like, don't do that. Do something different. You know, stand out if you can. And so, and always just be what you want to be in the audition, even if it's not right for the role. Do the thing, play the note that you know how to play, and make it memorable, because even if that thing doesn't get cast, the casting director will know what you can do.
Yeah, yeah.
If you try to fake it and do the thing that's on the page and you're not good at it, A, they're not gonna hire you, and B, they're not gonna see what you have to offer for other things that come down the road, because casting directors are all about building relationships with actors and being like, oh, you know who'd be right for this thing? He came in an audition for this, but he wasn't good for it, but he might be right for this. So play the thing you know how to play, and that's what was always my technique. And so he said in that moment, he was like, all right, this is gonna be this guy. So this is the long version. So anyways, cut to the question you asked was, what was it like to get that call? So the problem was I was like still 285 pounds at this point. And so I had done this movie, Moneyball, and I had to lose a ton of weight to get cast in Moneyball. And I remember I was Andy during the off season getting fat, and then doing these prestige kind of movies like Moneyball and Zero Dark 30 in the summer. So I'd have to like balloon my weight up and down over and over again for multiple years. And I had gotten in great shape to play Moneyball. I remember I was too fat for like 6 weeks, and then I just went hardcore like wrestler and cut like 50 pounds in like 6 weeks, just like starved myself, not healthy at all. Wait, no, excuse me. I did have to lose money, but for Zero Dark 30, I got pretty jacked over the summer. And I sent the picture to my brother, who's backstage here. My brother's with me out here in New York right now. And I sent him this picture. He's like, dude, you look jacked. That's amazing. I can't wait to see Zero Dark 30. And then he watched the movie. He's like, bro, you're like, no one sees that you're jacked at all because you're wearing like a full kit the whole time. What a waste. He's like, you need to put that picture out on Leno. Leno was like, oh, we already did our pre-interview. I'm not gonna like just show a picture of myself in my underwear on Leno. It makes no sense. But then when I went on Ellen to promote something, he was like, show that fucking picture, dude. No one knows that you got jacked. I was like, all right, so I did it. I put the picture on Ellen. And then she showed it, and oh, Chris he got in good shape, and he's in Ellen underwear. So then, when I'm finally sitting down with Kevin Feige and all the executives at Marvel, 285 pounds, this is like 2 years after Zero Dark 30, he slaps the picture from Ellen of me in my underwear. And he's like, can you do this? I was like, how long do I got? He's like, 7 months. I was like, oh, dude, I can blow that out of the water. And this is when I hadn't given me the role yet. He's like, okay. And then I left, and I was driving home. I'm like, I think I might fucking get this role, bro. And then I'm gonna cry. They call me, and they're like, dude, you got it. I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Way.
Yeah, I got a little emotional.
On the way home?
On the way home
So
from...
all he wanted to do was see you react to that.
He wanted to
picture.
talk to me and see me react to that picture, and basically ask me if I could become a hero for him.
And you said
I
absolutely.
was like, dude, yes, I'll do it. And I did it.
Dude, fucking
Let's go.
Let's go, man.
Yeah. God, I think I'm gonna start crying.
Also, by the way, when that...